Warrior Junior here for another day, another episode, another squirmish, as I like to say. Well, if you listen to yesterday's upload, I go to the park at night. Sometimes they have like rings and all the pull up bars, push up bars, dipping parallel bars, lots of good shit. And I've been listening to David Goggins a lot lately, and he says like I'm glad that this video is coming out a little clearer so you can see me a little better. Um, challenge your mind, push yourself, you know, become the best version of yourself, if you can, and it requires a big sacrifice. And as I mentioned, like I'm training for a big natural bodybuilding show, the Natural Olympia. It's the pinnacle, it's in Las Vegas, and you know I did it a couple of years ago, and the main thing I would say is the diet. Like for me, because I train my ass off. I do lots of things, but the cardio and the diet, and when I mean cardio, I mean like, to give you an idea. I mean here, this again, not to boast, but I just like to see kind of like how sharp I am. I mean, I'm all right. Like I'm 138 right now, and I want to come in about 135. Really want to be as like as sharp as you can fucking be. For the show. It's funny because like when people think 135 pounds, you're thinking like an emaciated, runner or somebody really skinny. But if you're solid muscle, and with 5'9", 135, it's pretty impressive if you're cut. When you're really solid. I'm okay, and I'm kind of humble about it. With when it comes to bodybuilding and and fitness and stuff, because I compete at these levels with these guys, and they're holy shit. Like no joke. Some of these people. Even classic physique. Um, I'm not gonna rehash what happened last night again, um, because it's more important for me to tell you just what happened today. Um, but again, as I said, somebody was picking on me in the park, and it's around these gay gay nightclubs or whatever, and I got no problem with them, like I really don't. But for some reason, I guess some of these guys, they're these Hispanic kind of think they're tough mentality. I don't care. Like I don't. It's a ruse though. Like they're not getting laid or hooking up in the club, so they see me working out, and they I don't know what they think they're gonna get, whatever. But I just, make it clear that, dude, fuck off. You could be nicer, but you know what? I'm not. When I'm training, I'm a beast. And if you come and bother me when I'm training, like, fuck you, dude. Go fuck yourself. You got some nerve trying to interpose in my life, and I just let them know straight up. And then they get that, you think you're bad? Come on, motherfucker. Like, and so I was scared last night, really was. And I had time to think and reflect after last night. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the gym today. And it's ironic, the heavy bag, they like resurfaced it. They not resurfaced it, but you put a new kind of plastic, it's really hard, I said, I'm going to fucking unload on this bag. I'm going to work this bag and, get my cardio up. And, even though sparring is generally the best, but movement, like that's the thing, is if somebody comes at you, you can move. And then I have a pretty damn hard strike. If I connect even at a lightweight, um you could pounce on somebody, you can inflict a lot of damage really fast. And As you know, most street fights end pretty quick. I'm not looking to get into fights. Far from Weak talks about this. There's no honor in a street fight, and I agree completely. But sometimes when people just keep poking at you, it's just, and they say they're going to kick your ass. Well, okay, let's not talk. Let's dance. Let's find out. Let me find out all my training, all my hard work, all my diet, everything I do. Let some guy with some words, that keeps pressing you and pushing you, and there's a time to stand up for yourself and be a man. And that time came today. And what happened was, after the gym, after the gym, I go to the market and buy some stuff, and I was coming home with my groceries. I was waiting for this main street, this light to change, and this guy, this young dude who looked Hispanic. I don't care. I have nothing against Hispanic people. I don't care. But this guy, he made it a point to try to get my attention for a long period of time. I'm standing, waiting for the light to change, and he's saying, "Well, I'm trying to help you, man. Ignoring me." So I just ignored him and he just kept on me and on me and on me. I'm waiting for the light to change, and then I hit my threshold. I turned to him and I said, "You are completely worthless." And then he just exploded like, "I'll fuck you up, man. I'll fucking kick your ass." I go, "You can kick my ass? Then let's fucking go." Like I said, I gotta get back from last night. I gotta show that I can do this. All this talk, I've had enough. And I did have enough. So he goes, "I'm gonna," he's on one of those birds, the scooter thing. He goes, "I'm gonna come around the block and then I'm gonna fucking fuck you up." And I says, "I cannot wait." And it's weird because I kind of tried to avoid it. I just thought about this. So I went a block down to avoid it. And sure enough, he's there. And he goes, "All right, motherfucker." So about 5 feet away, I put down my groceries and I charged him. And I just said, "I am going to pound this guy into the next universe. I'm going to get back from yesterday. These guys that are all telling me that they're going to fuck me up. I had enough. I finally had enough." So I charged him. And when I got him, he put his fucking head down. And I came back and I didn't throw the punch. I saw that it was all a ruse. That it was all hot talk, I'll kick your ass. He put his head down like he couldn't, and I saw really what it was. It's so amazing. And then I was trying to get away, and he's trying to like rationalize with me, and he goes, "But you think you're tough, though?" And I said, "No, I am. I am tough. I'm tough on myself. You think you're tough." The generic kind of machismo kind of thing. I'm tough on myself, dude. That's what makes I believe in myself. And that's what most people don't fucking believe in themselves. And they have to try to pull you down. They can't. Who's tough is David Goggins is fucking tough, dude. I did 15 miles on the bike in 65 minutes today. That was tough. But I'll be damned if somebody's gonna pick on me. Like, I'm just mind leaving lead. Just you're gonna keep prodding and coming after. You're gonna come after me. I hit my threshold. I used to think, how come like no celebrities out there, in these parks and working out at night? That's why. There's a lot of people out there. They need attention. They need whatever. Their babies are crying for attention. I don't know when I was young if I don't think I was like that. Maybe, but it's just like, wow, like I know the smarter thing would have been not to say a word when the light changes go, and it would have been over. But I don't know. He just kept antagonizing me, and then it compounded from yesterday. Yesterday, it just really, and it's not an ego thing. It's not like I need to prove myself in the park. I'm a fighter. No, I'm not a fighter. But it's like, and I know it's a public place. I know, but I don't go up to people and fuck with them. Like you got to be at it. It's just amazing. Like you see a guy working out, training. What do you hope to get? What do you think you're gonna get? They're either trying to like bust your balls, or I don't know. They're looking for some daddy. I don't know what that. I don't know what do you want from me? I don't got nothing for you, dude. It's like you know, I know what I put myself through. And these people, like I know it's not. I don't own the fucking park area. It's not mine. But like in a way, at night when I'm training and I see the nightclubs far, in the perimeter, whatever, it's like I could see this matrix. I could see what the other people are wasting their life doing, and then I could see the grind that I'm doing. During the day at the park, there's kids there. It's everything. But for some at night, it's like these the party scene. The gays, usually almost none. They never bother me. They don't. But when it happens, it's like it's god damn. And I guess what happened was I hit my threshold. Even the guy goes, "Well, I'm not that guy," and it's yeah, whatever. You're acting like him. Try to rationalize at that point, and it's just nonsense. I am proud of myself in a way because I did stand up for myself. Like I had enough. Like I really hit that point of I'm not gonna run anymore. Like I'm gonna fucking it's time to throw at this point. Like I had a when I was in the I fucking what I do on that heavy bag and the movement I do. I'm not a pro fighter. I'm not pretending to be. I don't watch MMA or UFC, but I fucking move. I fucking move a lot. And I don't, it's funny because like when I go out dancing, you could tell if somebody's really got something. But it's weird in the fight thing. A lot of it's all that talk. Dude, I'll fuck you up, motherfucker. I'll good. What you gonna do? But then they don't. That's all it is. A lot of it. They try to scare you because it's like fight or flight. And but this time, like I ran at the guy. Yeah, I know. He was scared. He was scared. When I fucking ran at him, because I was serious. Like, I know what I could fucking do. Um, you know, it's like, I'm not young, dude, but I train like a motherfucker, dude. I train like a fucking motherfucker. Okay, every day. There were pools of sweat, dude. I'm not exaggerating. 65 minutes on the cardio bike, pools of sweat off of me. Like I hit my limitation. I say, dude, if the next person that steps up, they're going down. And this guy, he just happened to be the next guy. Like he come up and he threw that same thing. I'm gonna fuck you up thing. And I called him on it. He was like, holy shit. Holy shit. When I came, he put his head down. Like when I came at him and he put his fucking head down. I saw reality, and you know what? And I knew not to fucking hit him, and I knew it, and I didn't. But well, why'd you say he's worthless? You know why? It was his carryover from yesterday. It was a carryover. It just really last night was really uncalled for. Running after me, all that, and putting me through all this shit, and I don't know why these people that whoever, why what do they hope to get? And I looked up bullying, and I looked up, well, they have insecurity issues. Like what happened was their dad abused them or something. So like they want to be like that now. And then they're not getting attention. So like they figure, well, if I go out there and act like a dick, and pick on people, I'll get attention that way. It's something, but I don't know what it is. And I'm not here to be Warrior Junior psychologist. I'm trying to get ready for a bodybuilding show, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I don't have anything against that. I don't care. But you're saying things, and then they're coming at you. Well, you know, yesterday was just such an overkill. What happened? It really was so deep rooted in my mind that I said, I am going to fucking train on this heavy bag. And what I'm gonna fucking do on this is almost break my fucking hands if I have to show how tough I am. And what I mean showing how tough you are, it's not, in a way, there is the hierarchy. Like, dude, if some guy can run faster than me, and they can do more shit, they are tougher than you. If they've ran doing ultra marathons and you've only done a marathon, guess what, dude? They got you beat. If there's a guy, he's a black belt in fucking jujitsu. You think I'd be a fucking moron to try to fight this guy? Because he's a fucking dude. That's their livelihood to kill you. They'll fucking to tear you limb from limb. And the guy goes to me, "You think you're tough?" And I said, "No, I am. Compared to you." Fucking lazy ass fucking guy on one of those little scooters. Lazy. It's like I'm not there to fucking be that guy's wake up call or to coach them or anything. But it's amazing that they come for me. It's like they're insects. I hate saying that, but you know what? If you act like one, then you are. Gotta grow up in life. I used to go to the park and I used to vent a lot. People walk by, you fucking lazy ass motherfuckers. And then some people would come after me, and okay, I get it. I get that. But I'm not saying a fucking word. I'm training now, and still people one guy, and then today with my groceries coming home, that was the final straw. That was the final fucking straw. The fragile egos. You call a spade, and what happens? Fucking Jesus, fucking losers. They see, what's possible, and they're not willing to do the work, but they think they're gonna fuck you up. Yeah, like they're gonna. How? How are you gonna beat somebody that is training his ass off? You can't. Dumb fucking idiots. That's why I stopped going out dancing. Because I got tired of people fucking with me. And then I saw it wasn't going nowhere, and it's like, you cannot control in a public environment. You cannot control, like in the park thing, anybody can come up to me and do their thing and whatever. That doesn't, I understand that. But if you cross that line and get into my strike range, just threaten me, you know, I don't know what the fuck to do. It's either fight or flight, and yesterday I ran, today I didn't. Today I ran to the guy. I said, it's on, motherfucker. And once I saw the fold, when I saw the fold, it's like it just showed me. It showed me the truth. I was like, holy shit, dude. Most people, they're all this, and I'm not like that. I don't walk around. I don't go around with it. I don't. No, because in Far From Weak, the guy said that there's no honor in a street fight. He's right. There's no honor in a street fight. Okay, it's all your ego thinking. You think you're tough. You think you're tough. Go do a fucking marathon. Go do a fucking marathon. Okay, and then talk to me. I guarantee you, any of these guys that go like that, they never did one marathon their whole life. Never. Because they're not tough, dude. They watch the UFC thing and they think, oh yeah, I can. Yeah, that's all I gotta do is act like this. And yeah, do you know how tough those fucking guys are? This fucking kid thought he's gonna try on me. I'd be laughing. It's so amazing. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, this is a short one, but you can see I'm a little more upbeat than yesterday. But there are clowns out there, dude. I try not to engage these fucking people because, but yesterday and then the aftermath today, the carryover, as I call this episode, you know, there. I said the next fucking guy that really I'm going to fucking step up, and I did. I'm laughing about it now because I'm proud of myself. Actually, there are times when you have to step up. I usually carry around a little mace with me. I'm just carrying that from now on. Somebody gets too close, but it really is amazing out there, and it's a shame, but I have good perception, when I see something coming at me because I've been walking the streets my whole life, and you know, you just got to, like I said in last episode, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly is when people get involved and pick on you. The good is when you look like the reward, and the bad, like the work, the sweat, the grind is hard. But I'm telling you, the higher up you go, it's like there's an analogy I heard. There was this guy, I don't know if he went broke or something. He was a baccarat professional player or something, and he made this great analogy to fighting to nature. And what he said, you take like a bird of prey, like an eagle, right? And you take like a crow or a raven, and the raven is trying to, let's say, the crow, I mean, I'm sorry, the hawk, is a real, or a bald eagle, whatever. It's a serious bird of prey, dude. So the raven, the crow, tries to fuck with the hawk, try to get a little something, or the eagle, whatever. And what does the eagle do? That's all the eagle does. It starts to ascend. Guess what happens? The raven, the fucking the crow can't breathe. It can't. It can't go to the level of the fucking of the fucking eagle. It cannot. So it goes down. That's the same thing. When you start to ascend in fitness, financial, education, you're elevating yourself to a higher level. These people, these they don't got doctorate degrees. These people, They're not business people, financially successful. These people, they don't know how to fight. They're not in fitness or anything. They're this. They're actors, but they're not real actors. They're street actors that have no value. None. And the problem herein lies is when you give them attention, which they don't deserve, you're telling them the truth. And when you expose the truth, they're fragile egos. They can't handle it because they know you're telling them the truth. And the thing is, it's not my job to do that, but that comes out of me when they keep pressing me. Like they just keep pushing me. I don't condone fighting, but I believe that it has to be in your arsenal. Just like making money, for survival, for paying rent or mortgage, education, going to school. You don't have to have a bachelor's degree, but I said, I think like, in Israel, you have to serve 2 years in the military. It's just part of the requirement. And I think that, like going to school, it can help make you more well-rounded. If it leads to a career, that's great. Um, but this type of this nonsense that these guys, these thuggy dudes that are picking on me, I hit my threshold with that today. I just couldn't take it anymore. That when this guy wouldn't leave me alone, he just would not leave me alone. And part of me, I guess, I wanted like retaliation from yesterday. It really bothered me. It really bothered me that this guy chased me around the fucking park. Like, you know, I'm just trying to do like calisthenic work and work my ass off, and I got to deal with these fucking. It's ridiculous. And it's funny because there are security. That there was nobody last night. Sometimes it's well lit. It wasn't well lit. Just a lot of things weird. Why do you go? No, why do you do this? If you do everything normal, as the matrix, as I call it, then you're living in fear. Now I know there's gyms that are 24 hours. I know there's places, but there's this park that I frequent. It's relatively safe. They have the equipment that I need. And I'm used to going out dancing, like instead, and this is my substitute behavior. And nobody should keep you from that. There's no rule that and some of these people, they all have to exert theirs, to come at you like, all I'm doing is just doing my thing, man. I'm not looking for fights. I'm not out there trying to show anybody up. But for some reason, it feels like people are threatened when you begin to ascend in life. It's like the haters, these people, they come after you. Like, I'm broke, I got nothing. I'm not famous. I'm not David God. Not, I get it. If you're a celebrity, David Goggins or J Lo or somebody like, you're a target. You're a public. You're in public now, and it's like there's gonna be somebody. There has to be somebody that is going to try to say, "Hey, you're a fucking," I'm gonna keyboard warrior you and fucking say you're a liar, you're a piece of shit, you're whatever. But God, like I'm just trying to grind and just trying to like work my ass off and chip away at things. And some of these fucking people, they have to make their presence known to me, like they deserve attention, and they don't. But when they get my attention, like it's not what they expect. I try to laugh about it because it's like they want the easy. I know what these people are looking for. I know what it is. Whatever it is, they want the easy. They don't want to they don't want to do what's hard, dude. They don't. You know what's hard? Doing a Big Bear marathon. Standing out there in 35 degrees waiting for the race to start in your t-shirt. That's hard. There's maybe 1,500 people that do that race once a year. Okay? And all of wherever they come from and everything. I like to see one of those guys, how tough they'd be crying like a fucking little bitch. Because they're not. That's all acting. What they are doing is it's all a ruse. You know what's hard? Doing gymnastics, the front lever, the side lever, the human flag, or the fucking back lever. That's hard. These fucking people, like they just they're delusional. They're doing what's easy. Anybody can walk around. Yeah, I'm real tough. You ain't shit, dude. You're an idiot. And then when you call them that, and I do it in very creative ways, their ego, they can't believe, they cannot believe, when it's, you're not fooling me, dude. You're not. You know what's hard? Doing thousands of push-ups and thousands of pull-ups and dips. And that's what I do in the fucking park, dude. I'm grinding away hard as fucking hell. There's a on the rings, or you can do this on a bar. When you lift your legs up, when you get to about like 45 degrees, I don't know if it's better to show it this way or this way. I call it the zone of difficulty. When you get your body to where your feet are pointed straight up, it's actually a real easy hold. But when you come down and you get about right here, your abs will feel like they're going to tear apart, the burning and everything. And your serratus and then your front delt, these insertion muscles, that shit's fucking hard, motherfucker. To me, that's hard. Doing shit, I don't care what it is, that requires strength, balance, coordination. That's hard. That makes you hard. You think you're tough. Yeah. Yes. Fucking morons. Just because they think street fighting, like there's no, that doesn't make you tough. That makes you an idiot, is what it makes you. If you're a good fighter, you would be in the UFC. You would be an MMA. You would be a ranked jiu-jitsu expert if you're a really good fighter. Black belt in any of the arts. It's a good fighter, That's respected. A boxer, that's a good fighter, like a professional. That's real. Not some thuggy, cholo thinks he's something, is picking on people. That ain't no fucking nothing. Warped delusion, warped mind, it's funny. And I've seen them in all races. I've seen them, in Hispanic. I've seen in black. I've seen white. You've seen all these clowns. They all think they nothing, dude. They're just looking for somebody to pick on, because they're insecure deep down. They know they're basically doing adult crying like a baby. They're big babies. They're like a baby cries for attention. That's what these kind of people do. I don't work out for the attention, but I get it for some reason, you know. And I think I'm all right. I don't think I'm that good though. But I work my ass off for no money. I don't put any of this stuff on here, record myself doing all the calisthenics and the fucking hard ass gym work that I fucking can do. Cause that's not why I do it. I'm not an influencer. They want to see beautiful women, young guys, whatever. I'm fucking 50 something years old. What the fuck? Yeah, I know. But I believe you could create the best version of yourself. But it requires that sacrifice, getting rid of people that pull you down. These friends, the crab in the bucket, the same people that you hang out with. They all drink and smoke or do drugs or whatever. You hang around that. You hang around cripples and had a limp. So Dan Pena said that. He's right. Problem is, I'm by myself. I do everything, and they say great strength comes from doing things on your own. It takes a real man. I got nothing against any of these groups. I don't gays. I don't care. I really don't care about anybody except myself. It's being selfish. That word is misconstrued, by the way. But in life, you should be selfish and focus on yourself. Stop giving attention to television and your attention, to things. It has no value. It's so amazing, though. Like, when you really work on yourself and you really start seeing the improvement, that ascension, it's, you know, and people are so sometimes they come after you, but they can't do anything. They're just, you know, mainly they might step up to your face for a second, but they cannot hold their own. They won't do the work like you're doing. They can't keep up with you. It's like you're running fast and they're gonna poop out so fast and they can't keep up. They can't. They can't. They won't. They won't. Anyway, it's kind of a short one today. I appreciate whoever is, but I'm not doing this for attention. I'm not doing this here for you. I'm doing this for me. This is kind of like a diary, I talk and I'm open and honest about things that I feel. And if anybody gets anything off of that, that's great. But really, this is my own personal journey. Like I just talk about my own challenges, and things that I go through, to try to create the best version of myself. And then what you see out there are people that are unfortunately trying to, pick on you and keep you from, I mean, nobody can keep you from really doing anything. I mean, that's my point. But I like to document, talk about, things when I see them and expose them, for what it is. And, it's interesting, I'm kind of from the old school, the old school mentality of standing up for yourself and, be hard on yourself. There's no need to belittle other people and go around and bully. There's no fucking at all. But let me tell you, if somebody keeps pressing you and pressing you, and you got the skills, dude, and you're confident, sometimes it was good. I didn't. That's all I did. I ran after the guy and right there, and that's what he did. He got scared. The truth was shown to me. I could have really hurt that guy, but I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. Even though he kept threatening me and threatening me and threatening me, it's all talk. I was just trying to get home with my groceries. That's all. And I try not to waste too much time with those people because I know it's all worthless. They're worthless. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but that's what the reality is. Most of these people are like insects. They have no value, none. I'm not a nice guy. Like I'm really brutally honest. People don't like that. They expect. It's a shock to call a spade a spade. When you really say what's out there, people, it's like, what? You don't know me, man. How big? Doesn't matter. You're just a baby crying for attention. Why are you even wasting your? Why me? Like what? Because they can't get any attention anywhere else, so they trying anywhere. But while you're trying to get attention, I'm fucking cranking out 10 hard dips horizontally on a fucking dipping bar. Hard as fuck, all this shit that I do. Hard. That's what makes you hard. That's what makes you tough. Pushing yourself. That's makes a tough motherfucker, man. David Goggins just says fuck people, I understand that. I get him completely. Completely. Anyway, that's all for now.